Will your family survive the next generation or be one of the 70% of family businesses that don't make it past the second generation? Many of you out there have a primary goal to pass your business down to your family. It's your legacy. It's something that you've built over time and have that dream of continuing that legacy for generations to come. But without the proper planning and really sitting down and having that conversation with your family, chances are you may become one of the 70% of businesses that don't make it past that generation. A few areas that you want to focus on as you get ready to plan to pass your business down to family. The first one's leadership. You want to take a look and make sure that your family, whoever you are looking to pass the business down to, has the appropriate leadership skills to take on that role. A lot of times what I see is business owners just automatically assume because their son, their daughter has been in the business for a few years and have watched them as a business owner in terms of how they conduct themselves, that automatically qualifies them to be able to do that when the business owner decides to step out. The other thing you want to look at is control. A lot of times it's really important that you take this transition over a period of time, that it's not something that you do all at once and then you step out of the picture. Because of the fact that this is going to be very important from a skill set transition standpoint, it's also going to be very important for your customers. In a lot of cases, your customers are going to want to see that you are still involved for a period of time before that transition actually happens. And then one of the more important aspects is from a financial standpoint. There are several different strategies that you can take that will actually minimize the amount of taxes that you will pay when you go to pass the business down to your family. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the different strategies that you can take. The first one I'm going to talk about is the Grantor Remainder Annuity Trust, or GRAT. In this particular vehicle, it's a great way for you to pass down a business so that it becomes estate tax exempt. And here's how you do that. So for businesses that are going to be over the estate tax exemption, it will allow you to transfer a portion, most likely a portion of the business to your heirs and lock in that value. So what that means is that let's say the value of your business is worth 50 million. And let's say that you want to move 25 million out because at some point you are going to pass this down to the next generation. What you can actually do is take 25 million, just using that as an example, move it over into a GRAT, and what that does is that freezes that $25 million valuation. Now you as the grantor can collect income off of that, and at the same time, as the value of the $25 million continues to grow, that grows estate tax free. So when you go to make that decision to pass it down, that's not coming out of your estate tax exemption. So it's a great way for you to come in, lock the value of the business in, generate income for yourself, and be able to smoothly transition a portion or all of the business to that next generation. Another strategy that you can take is you can do what's called an installment sale. And in that scenario, what you're doing is you are selling the business to your next generation and you are collecting almost like a loan payment. So instead of a bank, you are the bank and you are essentially loaning them the money to acquire the business, and they are paying you back over a period of time. Now, usually what this entails is that they are paying you back from the cash flows of the business. So it makes it a lot more reasonable for them to come in and acquire the business because they're not having to come in like a third party with the entire amount of money up front. In addition to that, it also allows you to spread your tax liability over that period of time. So instead of you getting hit with all of the capital gains tax all at once when you sell the business, you're actually able to spread that out over the term of the seller's note. So it's a great example, once again, for you to pass that down, collect payments similar to retirement income, as well as get some tax benefits that go along with that as well. Okay, let's give you an example of how a GRAT can be used in a business. So we're going to use a customer. Her name is Maria. She successfully built, over the course of 30 years, a $15 million fabrication business. She identified early on that this was going to be a business she wanted to pass down to her children, but she still wanted to stay active within the business. She didn't want to completely give up control. So what she did is she established a GRAT, and she transferred 60% of the business interest to her children while still retaining the 40% and having control over how the business operated. Then, over a period of 5 years, she slowly transitioned the business to her kids while also allowing them to be involved in the business to help with strategy. And in those 5 years, the business actually grew 40%. So not only did this save $2.3 million in estate taxes, but it also gave that 40% increase in value to the next generation. And now she's got a business that is already starting into that third generation with her grandkids. So by utilizing this simple strategy, she was able to not only save in taxes, effectively transfer the business down to the kids, and then also make sure that she's taken care of also from a financial standpoint as well. So let's talk about a cautionary tale. So I'm going to tell you a story about Bob. Bob owned a construction company, very successful, had actually grown this company to right around a $15 million valuation, but he didn't do any type of business succession planning. To him, he could put it off and think about it later, and didn't really know exactly what he was going to do in terms of whether he was going to pass it down to kids, look at selling it to a strategic buyer, selling it to his employees. He wasn't quite sure, so he never put pen to paper and never really thought about it. Then Bob suddenly died at 58, and his kids were fighting over the company. There were 4 kids. Each one of them had differences in terms of what they wanted out of the business. There were 2 that actually wanted to take over the business and continue it to that next generation. The other 2 just wanted the cash. They didn't want anything to do with the business. They just wanted their inheritance and they wanted to move on. So fast forward, $800,000 in legal fees later, the company started dropping in value because the customers started getting nervous about the future leadership of the company. So the business value went down 65%. And after the business value had dropped so much, they ended up having to fire sell the business, having a huge loss. And not only did they have a reduction in their inheritance, but they destroyed the business that Bob had worked so hard. So this is an example of why it's so important to put together a business succession plan. Don't wait until you're ready to sell. Start doing it now. A lot of customers I talk to, it's, well, you know what? I'm still 5, 6 years, or maybe I'm 3 or 4 years away. I don't need to worry about it now. You want to start planning at least 3 to 5 years out for situations like this, because you never know what's going to happen. And the last thing you want is to have your business destroyed because you didn't want to take the time to put the planning in place. So don't let your family business become one of the 70%. Click on the button in this video to get your free value gap assessment, as well as set up your one-on-one free strategy session with me. We'll talk through some different options, start to find out what might be the best for you, and determine if it makes sense for us to work together.